Hello?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jason Curtis. I'm calling from South Africa to do an interview with Nick.
Right, yes, that's me.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Yourself?
No, not too bad, thank you. It's good to get to speak to you, I must admit.
Yeah, good.
Congratulations are in order, I'm sure, once again for the new album.
Yes, thank you, yeah.
Yeah, you...
We're very pleased to have got it out.
Good. Now, this is hardcore, right? It's a sexy title. Would you call Pulp a sexy band?
No. I wouldn't call it Pulp a sexy band at all. If you've seen Jarvis in his underpants, then you would know what I mean. Sex is not a word that would come to mind. Probably emaciated pigeon would more likely come to mind. But no, we're just kind of a ragged bunch of misfits, really. That's probably the best way to describe Pulp. I think it's nice to be regarded as, if people do regard it as a sort of sexy group. That's very nice. It's kind of a defying all odds of nature. But when you're on the inside, it doesn't quite look as glamorous as perhaps when you're looking from the outside.
Yeah. Now, since sort of about 1995, really, Pulp has sort of grown, in sort of mass popularity, I think, to become somewhat of a household name in the UK and now in the US as well. What do you think it was that was the catalyst sort of in breaking the band, to the vast sort of mainstream?
I'm really not sure. I mean, I've thought quite a few times about what if there was one particular thing that kind of tipped people onto the sort of road towards success, but I can't really. I really can't put my finger on one particular thing. I think it was probably the sum of many different things, all very gradually sort of coming together. I mean, trivial things perhaps like Jarvis deciding to wear contact lenses rather than wear his glasses.
Yeah.
And quite a few of us moved down to London for a while. That would have had something to do with it. Perhaps the actual audience changed. Perhaps we were just conning ourselves to think that Pulp were making good music, and perhaps in reality it was all crap. And then all of a sudden Pulp started making good music. I don't know. I think it's just one of many things. A combination of many things coming together. Very difficult to say.
Right. Now, the last tour that you did for Different Class seemed to sort of take strain on the band, to the point of, I remember reading about the gig in Paris where, the band walked off and you actually had to go out and sort of pacify, the crowds. What actually sort of happened there?
Well, it was a very strange day, that, because all day there'd been this huge rally in the centre of Paris because there'd been sort of a general strike almost, and there was this, and the marches went past the venue, and we also went out and sort of mingled with the march. And it was a really good atmosphere, but over the years the French have had a kind of a very militant sort of attitude, and when they go on strike, they do it for real. They do go on strike, and they will paralyse the entire country until something happens. And it just seemed that this day there was this great, almost like kind of a revolutionary sort of fervour. Perhaps we will get a bit highfalutin ideas about it. And I mean, touring does take its strain. I mean, you're out partying all night, and you have to play concerts and do interviews and things like that. And one of the first things that kind of gets sacrificed is sort of sleep and things like that, and mental health deterioration, bodily function start packing up, things like this. And there is a great strain, and it just kind of comes to sort of a head on that concert. I mean, we played a really good concert, and a lot of the audience had to, we had stories of people walking for sort of like 10 miles because there was no transport because of the strike to get to this concert. And we played a concert, and basically we didn't do we weren't coming back from it. It wasn't a case of walking off. It was really a case of not coming back to do an encore that the audience were clamouring for.
Okay.
Because Jarvis did a bit of kind of trashed his amplifier because he couldn't hear what he was singing.
Okay.
Because his kind of voice was going down a bit, and we didn't come back to the encore. It looked like the audience might turn a bit nasty.
Yeah.
Because it had been a great gig, but we just weren't able to do an encore. So I sort of volunteered myself to go out and say to the audience, it's not, of course, we didn't want to go away thinking that we weren't coming back because we thought, they weren't being a very good audience or something, or we weren't playing because we didn't like the Parisians or something like that. So I just went, and it was a very nerve-wracking moment, I must say, because I play the drums, I don't
you had a way
on my department,
Yes.
So I just sort of said, I'm sorry, it's not your fault, we just are unable to come and play any more songs, and that was it really. I mean, touring does take a lot out of you. We had been on the road for quite a long time,
and are you ready to do it all again?
Yeah, that's for it, man. It's strange. We just started to play a few not concerts, but we did a TV show in Paris the other day where we played a couple of songs. We played 6 songs at the album launch party in London the other day, and it was kind of a bit nerve-wracking because we didn't know whether we liked to play concerts that much anymore, because obviously you'd played that many concerts on the last tour. It was kind of it had deteriorated everyone's abilities. So it was nice to kind of just put the foot in the water and see what it was like. And we've all really enjoyed these, playing these few songs. So we'll look forward to our first few concerts coming up in about 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is in between albums, you've included you've included tracks on Velvet Goldmine and also a track for Great Expectations. Is that sort of something that you want to sort of see yourselves doing more of? Do you like the idea of contributing to these?
Yeah, it's nice it's always nice to be asked. I mean, you have to be, invited to contribute a track for sort of film. You can't say, we've got this song, it'd be great in your film. it is nice, especially the one for Great Expectations, especially interesting because we were given a videotape of a particular scene from the song, and they said, will you do a piece of music for this scene? Because usually you just kind of say, can we have a song, and you kind of root around in the bin and see what you've got lying around and say, oh, here's one, you can have this sort of thing. Whereas this, we could actually tailor our songwriting to what was happening on a screen. So in the rehearsal we set up a video and we set up TV and we played the scene and we just played music along to it, and it was a really good way of doing it. I mean, it did help matters that it was the scene where Gwyneth's taking her clothes off. That helped. That did help quite a lot. I think the tape got worn out by the end.
Suddenly inspired, yeah.
It was very inspired, yeah. I mean, it was great because the director and the musical director came down. They were just expecting to hear a cassette of some music, and we took them into the rehearsal and actually played the song while watching the telly with the scene, and they were going crackers at the end. It was great.
Great. Because now, also for the new album, you're doing an hour-long film.
That's right, yeah.
Which is interesting, is because it would definitely seem that Pulp are sort of venturing into the world of celluloid as well as music. Have you got is there a theme? I know you did it with the last album as well, where you or rather for His and Hers, you did clips as well. Is that something over and above the music that you actually like getting in yourselves involved in?
Yeah, well, mainly it's kind of Stephen and Jarvis's sort of hobbies, really. I mean, they both went to film school, and so they've always been quite interested in fanning around with films and things like that. And it is nice to be able to sort of have another side to the music as well. Talk about the sort of more of the background ideas that go into some of the songs, and it's good. It's good promotion, yeah. I mean, I haven't got a great deal to do with what's happening with this hardcore film. I've seen a little bit of it, and it's just kind of talking to various people who've been involved along the way. With one or two things.
Right.
About their sort of take on things. And, but yeah, it's interesting. Jarvis is going to, this spring as well, before we go touring, is making a film for Channel 4 in Britain.
Yes.
About outsider art.
Yes.
There's some people who sort of seem to have this strange calling to build things or make art without having any formal art training or anything to do with art before. It's very interesting. It's an interesting subject he's going to go to.
Yeah, absolutely.
All around Europe and places.
Yes.
Good luck to him, I say.
Yeah, absolutely. But now, what's interesting to me is, and you did it on the last album as well when you released Common People. Last October you released Help the Aged ahead of the album. I mean, obviously quite a few months before that. And both tracks obviously appeared, have appeared on both albums. Is that sort of a conscious thing, for you to like put that out, get a feel, for what people are, if they're ready for, for the balance of the stuff that's to come?
Yeah, in a way, Help the Aged was a very rare beast that it was actually written while we were on tour, which is quite unique. And that was the first thing we recorded, and it did seem as if it was going to be a kind of a bridging song almost, because it seemed quite similar to some of the stuff on different parts. And we knew that for the new record, we wanted to make an album that was different to different class. And we thought, well, let's get Help the Aged out, show people that we're still alive.
Yeah. And
to sort of say, okay, we've got a new album coming out eventually. It's going to be different from the one before, but you're going to be able to still see kind of a thread running through it all. It's kind of priming the pumps in a way.
And when, as I say, well, January last year, when Russell left the band, did that affect the way you put the new album together? After he had left the band.
It was kind of strange. It was just a case of, I suppose, the five of us having to kind of fill the gap that was therefore made by Russell's departure. It was kind of strange at first, not having him sort of back in the corner, away. But it's just those things we have to, I suppose, live with it and try to work to our own advantage in a way. We've had to expand the sound of just the five of us in the writing side of things. It's been a shame.
Because sorry?
We go on.
Yes, yeah. And interesting as well, around the time that you released Help the Aged, you took over a few radio stations as well, which I thought was rather interesting. Whose idea was that?
I don't know, really, just a case of people asked, everyone's doing it, and it's a good idea. I mean, it's a good laugh playing records on the radio. So, we just kind of, it was great on, especially doing it. We sort of covered for John Peel for a week while he was on holiday. I mean, he'd never asked any of the groups to do that, so it was quite a good honour. And we had a good laugh doing it. We got the beers in and brought some records and just generally enjoyed ourselves. Good fun.
Well, I mean, this is something between everything else. You'll never be out of a job between the five of you.
Maybe.
And so, looking at the album, the new album, again, would you classify it as a mature album? I know it's sort of a tacky thing to say, but it's been classified as that, because taking away your sort of suggestive title for the album, the music which underlies that is quite the opposite. Was that intended, or was that sort of just the way the album came together?
It really just the way it came out. I mean, nothing was. We didn't sit down and start and say, right, this new album's going to be kind of heavier, a bit darker kind of thing. It's just how it turned out, you know. And because we didn't, when we started out, we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't even know whether we could write the songs anymore. We kind of lost the ability. And luckily, we kind of found it after a few sort of hard stumbles in the darkness. And we got there. It's never easy. Never easy, but we got there in the end.
Because what would you, or what would the band like to see sort of happen, you know, with this album? You know, where would you like to see this album take you? Because obviously the albums up till now have taken you to a certain place. Where would you like this album to go?
Well, there's no point in putting records out that you don't think are going to be successful. I mean, in a crass way, we just like it to keep pushing Pulp on to sort of higher levels, I suppose, and keep our sort of validity within sort of people's consciousness. You know, sort of keeping sort of that finger on knowing what other people want to hear, that kind of thing. And we'd like to use it to be able to go to countries we've never been to before. I mean, it'd be nice to come down to South Africa.
Would be, yes.
We'd like that.
Yes, we'd like that too, actually.
I don't know if anything's been penciled in, but you never know.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be very nice.
It would be, rather, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, do you find it sort of getting more, you know, the pressure, you know, of having to sort of succeed, you know, the bigger you get, you know, the more focus there is on you, and the quicker somebody is to sort of point a finger and go, ha, you know, it's not as good as the last one, or, you know, they tend to become a little bit,
Yeah, people are always, you know, especially in the British music press, wanting to see you fall and see people sort of kind of fall on their own sword kind of thing. We've sort of been expecting that, and it hasn't really materialised just yet.
Good.
And there was rumours that everyone had heard that, you know, this new album was you know, going to be a load of rubbish. But thankfully, I think they've sort of, so far, all the critical reviews have been pretty good, and they've been jumping. I would say that we're still there producing a record that hopefully will stand the test of time.
Good.
I mean, it's quite sad, I suppose, that is the way the kind of British music press works. It very much is a case of build them up and knock them down.
Yeah, it is strange, that. Yeah.
Maybe that's just, you know, I mean, Britain has got a very, very vibrant music scene.
Yes.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why it is so vibrant, because people don't suffer people hanging around with crap music very long. You know, they'll you know, the first sort of, I suppose, inkling that their music's not as up to scratch, then they will, you know, bin them off and say, crap.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get some new kids in.
Yeah.
That's why it's such a good scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick, could I ask you to do one last favour for me, if I could? This is going to be going out on a show called The Cutting Edge, which is sort of syndicated all over the country here. So you'll be speaking to about 360,000 people.
Oh, good.
So if you want to, as I say, if you could just say, hi, this is Nick from Pulp, and you're listening to The Cutting Edge, something like that.
Right now.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hello, my name's Nick. I'm from the group they call Pulp. You are now listening to The Cutting Edge, and be careful, it's really sharp.
Excellent. Thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate it.
No problem.
But congratulations again.
Okay?
Yeah, as I say, congrats.
Yeah, no problem.
Good luck with it all. And we will look out for you, and we'll hold you to coming out and hopefully giving us a show down here at some point. I know it's difficult.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Yeah. Lovely.
Okay,
Thank you.
then.
Thanks for your time.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.